You've seen token decks before, but what if every single token you made your spells cheaper and your X spells bigger? That's exactly what Witherbloom the Balancer does best. And when your board starts growing, the spells start flowing. Hi everyone, I'm Full Harmonicon and welcome back to the channel. If you enjoy synergistic commander breakdowns that focus on how decks actually work together, consider hitting that subscribe button. Today, we're diving into a token deck that doesn't win through combat. Instead, it uses tokens as fuel to cast absolutely massive instants and sorceries for dirt cheap. And at the center of it all is one of the most powerful commanders from Secrets of Strixhaven. It's Witherbloom, the Balancer. And if you enjoy making a ton of creature tokens, casting your commander for next to nothing, and then firing off X spells where X equals way too much, this deck is absolutely for you. Witherbloom is a 5/5 Elder Dragon with flying and death touch for 8 mana, 1 black, 1 green, and 6 colorless. But his first ability is Affinity for creatures, meaning Witherbloom costs 1 less to cast for each creature you control. Then, the ability that makes this deck tick, instant and sorcery spells you cast have Affinity for creatures. And this is where things get wild. Right away, we're encouraged to go wide. The more creatures we have, the cheaper Witherbloom becomes, and the cheaper all our spells become. And if those spells have X in their cost, that X starts getting very big, very quick. The overall game plan is actually pretty straightforward. First, we set up by getting some early mana dorks and token producers onto the field. Then, we drop Witherbloom, usually for much cheaper than expected, and start expanding our board even further. And finally, we convert all that board presence into one massive spell that ends the game. Simple plan, but the execution feels explosive. Now, normally I leave ramp until the end of the video, but in this deck, ramp is doing double duty. It's reducing our commander cost and powering up our spells later in the game. Every mana dork essentially ramps for 2, so these are way more important than usual. Birds of Paradise is just incredible. 1 mana, any color, no downside, and flying. Delighted Halfling gives us that same efficiency, but also makes our commander uncounterable, which is huge. Then we've got the classics, Llanowar Elves, Elvish Mystic, and Fyndhorn Elves, all doing exactly what we want them to do. Elves of Deep Shadow gives us black mana, while Boreal Druid only makes generic mana, but that's still essentially 2 mana. Arbor Elf is a bit different, untapping lands instead of producing mana directly, but it's still a body. Then we've got Elysian Cartidid and Fanatic of Ronus, which scale up once Witherbloom is out, helping us push those big finishes even further. Twitching Doll and Tender Wild Guide are nice because they become more than just one body, which matters a lot. Enduring Vitality is kind of ridiculous. It turns all our tokens into mana dorks, which means suddenly our board isn't just wide, it's fueling everything. Now that we've got our mana sorted, we need to go wide, because more creatures equals more affinity. Sprout Swarm is one of the biggest standouts here, and honestly, it can just end games. With Witherbloom and 3 other creatures, this becomes an infinite loop thanks to buyback. We make a sapling, use it to help pay for the next cost, and repeat. Lab Rats does a similar thing, just a bit slower since it keeps costing 1 black mana every time you cast it. Awaken the Woods is absolutely insane in this deck. Once Witherbloom is out, the cost reduction lets you create a massive number of tokens for way less than it should cost. Yes, please. Sedgemoor Witch rewards us for doing what we already want, casting instants and sorceries, by giving us even more tokens. Chatterfang, Squirrel General, doubles every token we're creating, and even gives us some removal when we need it. Army of the Damned is usually 8 mana, but here it can drop for just 3 black mana and flood the board instantly. Second Harvest, doubling your tokens for just 2 mana, honestly feels borderline unfair. For the common good, lets us sink mana into copying tokens, perfect for scaling up our board for that big finish. Tendershoot Dryad gives us tokens every upkeep, not just ours, which adds up fast. Arista of the Endless Web punishes opponents for casting spells by giving us a token creature every time they do. Arachnogenesis is a surprise defensive play that explodes our board equal to the number of creatures attacking us. Scoot Swarm, just quietly, or not so quietly, takes over games if left unchecked. Witherbloom Bearer keeps the tokens flowing every turn. Chatterstorm can spiral out of control when we are already chaining spells. Gelatinous Genesis gives us multiple big bodies when we need them. And Saproling Migration gets us on the board early but scales nicely later. Once our board is stacked, this is how we end the game. Exsanguinate is one of the cleanest finishers, draining everyone out thanks to massive X values and discounts due to our board. Stensian Sanguinus contributes to our board and discounts, but also gives us a second copy of Exsanguinate to cast. Torment of Hailfire is just brutal. Casting this for X equals 20 usually ends the game on the spot. The newly unbanned Biorhythm is sneaky powerful here. Dropping everyone's life totals based on their creatures often leaves opponents wide open to our little tokens. Finale of Devastation pulls out exactly what we need, which is usually a Craterhoof Behemoth. And once Craterhoof Behemoth hits the board, everything gets huge and gains trample. Overwhelming Stampede works similarly to Craterhoof, scaling off our biggest creature. And Damnable Pact gives us flexibility. Card draw if we need it, or direct damage to finish off exactly one opponent. This deck burns through our hand, so we need ways to refill it. Shamanic Revelation and Collective Unconscious both scale with our board and become incredibly efficient when cast for next to nothing. Audience with Trostani and Circle of Power give us cards in hand while also adding more tokens to our board. Stinging Study is often 1 black mana to draw 8 cards, which is just absurd. Return of the Wildspeaker gives us flexibility, draws cards, or ends the game. Skullclamp turns all our small tokens into card advantage. And Plumb the Forbidden lets us sacrifice tokens in response to removal to refill our hand. Even with all this synergy, we still need interaction to ensure our game plan. Azuri's Predation is perfect, a board wipe and tokens all rolled into one card. Pest Infestation deals with artifacts and enchantments while growing our board even bigger. Verdant Command and Rootcast Apprenticeship offer flexible utility by either making tokens or removing threats. Dregs of Sorrow become both a board wipe and burst card draw. Necrotic Hex and Zat's Will disrupt opponents while keeping us ahead on board. And then we've got staples like Assassin's Trophy, Abrupt Decay, Beast Within, and Tear Asunder. Now on to a few lands that really stand out. Dryad Arbor counts as a creature and a land, which helps with Affinity. Evendo, Waking Haven, can regenerate massive mana in the late game. Kalani Garden gives us a free token on ETB. And Fountain Port offers either tokens or card draw when needed. Witherbloom the Balancer is seriously powerful. We're almost never paying full price for our commander, and the deck can explode out of nowhere. The synergy is what makes it shine. You're not just playing tokens, you're converting them into something much bigger. That said, the deck does have a weakness. Board wipes can really set you back. So pacing yourself and holding up a bit of protection can make all the difference. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more synergy-focused Commander content. If you'd like to support the channel further, memberships are available and they help shape future videos. And hey, if you're picking up any of these cards, consider using my TCG Player affiliate link down below. And until next time, may all your X spells be absolutely massive.